think China is the president of 2016 G20, and it has a responsibility to be able to reflect the challenges and ambitions of both the developed countries as well as the developing countries. Many developing countries associate with China because it has characteristics of an emerging market of a developing country.
The issue that we are now finding for the inclusive growth is the kind of imbalance between the power of the government or capability of the government and the level of the growth. What I would like to say is that, for example, the emerging market, they need a huge infrastructure, huge amount of infrastructure. But for some reason, the governments of these countries are not capable enough to fund it by itself at this moment. So people are coming up with the idea of PPP. But PPP is also a very difficult issue to be handled by these type of governments. And that is something which is expected for China to show to the global leaders at the time of G20. That's what I understand.
Many developing countries associate with China because it has characteristics of an emerging market of a developing country. India associates with China too, as you've seen in Paris in climate change talks, as well as in some of the other forums, that it associates with China in some ways because it sees China as a developing country that has done very well for itself. You know, the Chinese leadership is always thinking strategically. People like scholars and intellectuals in India and Indian government also looks to China to play that role?
Well, as I said, China's presidency is important because China has shown in the last couple of years that it takes more and more responsibility in global affairs. We are in a critical phase of the development of the world economy, we see the common interest of large economies but also smaller economies to coordinate in order to prevent world economic crisis, in order to improve growth, and particularly since now we have the Agenda 2030, which has been signed in September in New York by all heads of state, which is a very ambitious agenda for the whole world for the next 15 years. Since President Xi Jinping has agreed that this would be also an important milestone now for the G20 policies, we expect that China will do a lot in the coming months in the run-up to the Hangzhou summit to really get G20 members around the table and discuss the major issues and get some beneficial output and commitments for the G20, which can be decided upon in September in Hangzhou.